Hey, welcome back to Sight Tonight. Welcome to our teaching segment. We're going to go in a little word tonight. We ask you to join in. Pull out your Bibles. We talked about what's up with that, different issues that we're facing in the world today. Now we want to try to connect some of these things to the Bible. We hope and pray that you get a blessing tonight. So come on in, join us, give us some hearts, even give us a call if you'd like to. The number's there on the wall. She'll put it up there for you and show you that. Welcome back again to Sight Tonight, where we try our best to
right. Quick clips.
All right. We're going to continue dealing with something that I think is that we have to continue to dwell on, which is our 3 P's, which is what?
Principles, policies, practices.
Absolutely. When we look at everything through that vision, through that lens, I believe it makes our study of the world, of the Bible, and of life in general a lot easier to deal with. So, for example, let's practice real quick here. If we were to look at the sanctuary, and we talked about the sanctuary, tell me what the principles are of the sanctuary. Throw me some things out that you would consider to be principles. I mean, Ari, could you write for me?
Sure.
Thank you. How you doing?
Okay, can I take a different note?
Sure you can.
I know.
So remember, principles are things that are eternal. They never change. They apply to everybody, everywhere, all the time. No matter what era we live in, no matter what time period we live in, they always apply. So just throw me some things out that you get, principles, from the sanctuary.
Yeah.
Okay. Holiness.
Oh, stop. Don't try me. It's too thick. How do I get that?
You pick the thin one.
Oh, how?
Top one.
Very thin.
No, you got the highlighter. The top one is the principal.
Transparent.
There you
Okay.
go.
I'm so done. Okay.
There you
It's a
go.
pretty color.
Gotcha.
Okay. Alright. Holy. Oh. Hold on, guys. Just give me like
We're waiting
2
for
seconds.
Ari to get
I'm
her.
used to the little dry erase board. I know. We got it. Okay, yeah. Thanks,
Yeah, this
sorry.
one's running over. Okay. Holy. All right, so we get holy. Holy applies everywhere to everybody all the time, right? Okay, what else? Yeah, what do you see in this section?
Accountability.
Accountability, okay. Yep. Accountability. Why do we get accountability out of sanctuary? Who's held accountable?
Yeah.
You are.
We are.
We are, but I mean in the actual sanctuary, who's held accountable?
The priest.
The priest, absolutely. So there's accountability, which also should give us another principle. What was the priest? He was a. What's the priest?
Give me a hint.
It's something that we have in need in our world today, consistently. It's a principle.
I don't know.
The priest was. You went to the priest as your.
Man, your guy.
Another word.
Leader.
There, leader.
Yeah.
So we see leadership. We see leadership. We see leadership. There's another important one that I see in the sanctuary. Something about even the way it looks.
Order.
You better preach, girl. Order. See that? See how we're pulling these principles out? Order. We see order in the sanctuary. What else? What else can we see?
Forgiveness? No.
Yes.
Forgiveness?
Forgiveness.
Yes.
Forgiveness is in the sanctuary. Absolutely. See, if we remember, Psalm 77, what does it say? Thy way, O God, is in the sanctuary. So, if we pull these things out, it tells us that forgiveness is not an option. Because it's a principle that applies everywhere, all the time. What else do we see? What was the whole purpose of the Day of Atonement? What was the whole purpose of that cleansing everybody's sins. What does it do to everybody when everybody's... What does it do to people when they're all cleansed and we're all the same? What does it do to them? It unifies. Unity. That's a principle.
You better go, Dwayne.
Yeah, unity. So we see unity in the sanctuary of God as a principle. These are principles apply to everybody, everywhere, all the time. I want you to start looking at everything, even in life, from a principle point of view, because that's where we form our thoughts. Feelings are not what we should form our lives on, because feelings are fleeting. They come and go. They're unreliable. They don't have necessarily morals or values. They don't have it. So we shouldn't focus on feelings. We should focus on thoughts, because our thoughts determine how we think about something rather than how we feel about something. Right?
Yeah.
That makes good sense. Anything else you can pull out, principle-wise, that you see? Principles. We see leadership. There it is. Sacrifice. We see sacrifice. We just all went around the room and you sitting here tonight in pain is a sacrifice. So we all see that sacrifice is necessary. That is a sacrifice. The way she wrote that, and for us to have to look at it, is a sacrifice.
Look, spelling is not a sign of intelligence. It's just to know. Oh, ew, I got it.
Any more?
Nice.
Sacrifice, order. Anything else that you pull?
Humbleness.
Humility.
Where would the humility be?
Like you actually going into
Yeah.
confess.
Humility. You have to actually enter into the gate. So you see humility. So these are all great components. Yeah, he's Wheaties, man.
You on fire.
It was the Snickers blast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how many? That's enough for tonight. That's good.
Jeez.
That's good. That's great.
I'm
Oh
sorry.
my goodness. Humidity.
No, I was trying to make trace over my
Humidity.
tea. Don't talk about me, Pastor James. We can talk about you for a minute.
That's why you're writing. I've had enough.
Right.
Between you and Desi, y'all be slicing me up.
Oh, man.
I'm not writing tonight. Okay. All right, good. Switch us back to the main screen. Just hit the whiteboard. We may come back to that. Okay, thank you, dear. Appreciate you. Good job writing tonight. All right, now, I want to see how well your memory is. Do you all remember when we talked about the ships?
Yes, I don't
Okay.
remember the order.
Do we? Well, that's what you're going to have to remember.
Okay.
I just need the order. Okay, think now. Fellowship is your general surroundings. So
Yes.
from fellowship, we start honing in on it. And from fellowship, we start developing
Relationship.
relationship.
Right. Go,
Right.
You gotta go.
Then from relationships, we start to develop
He was saying friendship.
friendship. There we
And
go.
then you got the last one,
So
which
this
is
is like
courtship.
school.
We ain't at the last one yet.
I gotta remember.
Companionship? No.
So this is like that desk that you sat at with everybody, and then you guys became friends, and then like two you guys.
A relationship, friendship.
Okay, got it.
Right. Okay. Got three more.
3 more.
Friendship. No,
Huh?
isn't it something? It's the education one,
Scholarship.
right?
Scholarship?
Is it scholarship?
Scholarship?
Is it?
Hey!
Good.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah,
you want to make sure that you're set.
Absolutely, you're ready. Absolutely. No, this is the ship. Because the basis is, for you that weren't here, basically you're building a ship that will sail you through life.
Yes.
To where it will be a stable ship to deal with all the storms and all the issues.
Yes.
So we're building from the bottom up.
Yes.
Actually, I have a card for you.
you.
Yeah, Tony, if you look on the
Yeah.
desk, there in that box, there should be a card we can give. It's Sabrina, right? Am I saying it right? Okay, good. Okay, scholarship, then what?
Courtship.
No.
Careership.
Which
Careership. Is it something with career?
No.
It's oh my gosh.
But this is values, choices,
Knowledge.
acknowledgement.
Then you have to
surrounding,
do
social,
something.
commitment,
Knowledge.
knowledge.
You have to do something.
You
in-
have to do it.
Yes,
And it's
it
an
comes
actual
right
word.
after.
It's
It's
a
a
what?
It's
It's
actual word.
that
Yes,
ends
a
with
word.
shit.
Well, these are all.
Right.
I'm just saying. Continue the pattern.
Leadership? No.
No, not
What does it mean?
What does it start? Yeah, just give us.
Courtship is last.
Yeah,
no,
you-
the courtship
We
is
know
last.
that.
The relationships are last.
This is something that you have to
Love is
become
last.
as an individual. And everybody doesn't
Oh,
think that they
oh,
are
oh,
one, but they
no.
are in some
Leadership.
form.
Wait, wait.
Leadership. There you go.
Jeannie, never let you know.
Absolutely.
Jeannie looked at her notes.
That is not leadership.
Oh no, I mean,
So which one of these you need to check?
I need to check relationship.
Discipleship.
Worship. She cheated.
No,
You need to go back and figure out who you worship.
All the way back to her.
y'all need to stop. I
So
want to
then,
get to
the last one then
Stop
obviously
cheating.
is
Courtship. Uh-oh.
Where'd the
You
last
skipped
one
it.
go?
You don't like that one.
courtship.
oh man.
Come on
this
now.
is- I know. We set it all up and then it disappeared on
All right,
us.
let
So
me take a
usually he
picture.
teaches this in a way where they're
There
out
it
of
is.
order.
It's a
and you have
game.
to put them in order,
Courtship.
and most times people are out of order, so you have to go back and check. Oh,
Did you get a card
very
for
much
her?
Not yet.
Yeah, see, so the purpose of this is that whenever you have something in your life that may be out of order, you go back and check yourself on this card to see where you're failing, and that'll probably line you back up to where you need to be. So, you know, there's no need you should be in courtship if you haven't learned your concept of leadership. If you have a problem with discipleship, which is following Christ, then you must have to make sure you're following him. Is it Christ you're following? But what we're going to talk about tonight is number 3.
I knew it.
We're going to talk about...
This is what Desi wanted to be here for.
But what, right, and we're just gonna get, we're not gonna get the part that he really wants.
Okay.
I mean, he needs this part, but the part that you're talking about, we'll get to next week. But this is gonna be the beginning. We're gonna establish the foundation of stewardship. And I'm glad you said what you said, because the fact that you said what you said is where everybody's mind immediately goes when they hear stewardship. So we're gonna talk about exactly what it is. And like anything else, we have to find out first.
What are the principles?
What are the principles of
Come on,
stewardship?
Simon.
Right, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Exactly. We have to know what the principles are. Now, principles, remember, are those things that are eternal, apply to everybody everywhere all the time. Then from there, we create our policies. In other words, our rules about stewardship. And then from there, we create our practices, the things that we actually do as a result of our rules that are founded on our principles. That's the order we do it in all the time. Is that way what we worship or who we or what we do does not become the source of our worship. So we don't start worshiping the church, the building, the rules, the people. So we always reevaluating our principles. So let's look at some of the throw me out some basics.
I have one. Faithfulness. Would that be a principle?
Yes, it is. That would be great. Absolutely. Any more? Faithfulness is a tithing. Is tithing? Oh, time.
Dedication.
No, not time. That's no, that's not a principle. That is a piece of stewardship. What are the principles of stewardship?
Dedication.
Dedication, commitment. What else? Yeah.
Selflessness.
Selflessness, sacrifice. Nice church answers.
Yeah.
Nice church
Well, we
answers.
grew up in.
I know.
You know.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to learn how to use our phraseology and communicate it in a way that if we had a secular audience here, it equates, it connects. Okay, so let's look at some. Responsibility and accountability. Use God's property wisely. Okay? Let's first define what is a steward. What is a steward? You guys been on a cruise? You guys been on a cruise? Been on a cruise?
Like
What's a steward does? Exactly.
Yeah.
A steward is one that
Leads the way.
they take care of you. They serve you, they guide you, they tend to you, but they're usually a representative of someone or something else.
The captain.
The captain, I'm the captain steward. I'm here to meet your needs. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are a steward of who?
Christ.
Right. We're a steward of God. So we use his property wisely. You got that?
Yes.
God holds us responsible and accountable for our job, which is what we're supposed to handle. So number one is being responsible and accountable. Number two, manage resources to promote goodwill in this world. Paint a picture. Another principle of stewardship is to manage resources to promote goodwill in this world. In other words, the things that we've been given are to be used for good. Now, what do I mean by painting a picture?
Paint the picture of
What do I mean by painting a picture? Manage resources to promote goodwill in this world. What do I mean by painting? When I say paint a picture.
Oh no. Oh yeah, I kind
Does
of
this have to do?
define.
Maybe?
Do it yourself.
When you paint, what are you doing? You are.
I guess you.
You're creating a what?
You're interpreting
You're interpreting an image of
something of
of God. So how do we paint a picture by managing resources to promote goodwill in this
the
world?
way we build, like the way we interact.
Right. Well, the way we use what we're responsible and accountable for.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's take an example. What was the place in Michigan that had the water problem? Flint. Exactly. What were people doing?
Giving water bottles.
Exactly. They were going and they were taking water bottles out. That paints a picture to the world of what? Humanitarianism. Caring for those who are struggling. So we use our money, we use water and things to paint a picture to the world of who God is. So one of the principles of stewardship is to be a reflection of God by using his what? Right, his resources or his property. Principle number 3, heavenly minded but also earthly good. Have an impact for now and for eternity. In other words, what God has given us, we're to use it when? Now, so that it can have an impact when? Now and forever. You got that?
Yeah.
In other words, we're not going to. You've heard people say, "Oh, the Lord's going to bless you one day. The Lord will take care of you."
They do. Lord.
Yeah, they say those things. I'm like, no. Or let's say, well, we want to go out and we want to help this community. Well, let's have a board meeting on that. Or let's meet about it. Let's see if we can get that approved. Well, no, they're hungry right now.
Yeah.
They need water right now. I've got resources right now that I can go and give them right now. Exactly. As opposed to saying, well, we're going to go pray. Okay, that might help for eternity. But remember, it has to have an impact now and for eternity. So heavenly minded, but also earthly good. And number 4, at the end of the day,
God is the owner.
all of it belongs to God. That's really the main and basic principle of stewardship, is that it all belongs to God. Now, rephrase this somebody quickly for me, the four principles that we talked about. Now, there's 1,000 of them, but let's look at our 4 basic principles of stewardship. What are they? Rephrase them for me. 1.
You use stuff that belongs to God.
How?
Responsible.
We're going to be held responsible and accountable for what we've been given by God. Number 2.
Do you use the resources in a way that's kind of like for the greater good, or trying to,
Bring about-
to use it for greater good for what purpose?
Greater good.
And what does that do in turn? By using it for good, in turn does
Put it
what?
back to God.
It paints a picture and a vision to people who don't know God, who may never go to a church, who may never read a Bible, but it paints a picture to them, a visual through you of what God is like.
Yes.
God is loving, God is kind, God is giving, God is merciful. So when you use a resource that God has given you to help somebody, you're actually pointing them to God. You're actually preaching a sermon. You're actually painting a picture of God. in our minds, the vision of painting a picture for us is always typical church service. Nothing wrong with that. It's great. But that's not the only way to paint a picture of God. Your everyday living can paint a picture of God. Number 3, summarize that for me. Meaning what?
What you do has to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Not relevant, but applicable now and forever.
Relevant, applicable now and forever, which is what we're trying to do with Sight. We're trying to do this on June 18th. We're trying to do something right now. We're not trying to sit around talk about it, wish what it would be, what it couldn't be, criticize what it is.
Yes.
We're trying to do something right now so that it has an impact right now and for eternity. Because if it impacts them now, it prepares them for eternity. Okay, and at the end of the day? At the end of the day, God knows everything. So that leads us to another question. Those are the basic principles, not policies. Stay with me now.
Yes.
See, you said tithing.
Oh, that's a faithfulness.
No, I mean when we said stewardship.
Yeah.
You said tithing. Right. We're going to get to that. But these are the basic principles. This covers stewardship for everybody, everywhere, all the time. No matter what their faith, no matter where they go to school, no matter who they are, what their ethnicity is. These are the basic principles that God intended for everybody as it relates to stewardship. Okay? The church should teach stewardship, not... Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, now let's move on. That leads us to the next question.
Oh, Lord. 5.
What are the 5 T's
I don't know.
of stewardship?
Here we go.
You learned that I like numbers. I'm always doing numbers. What are the 5 T's of stewardship? Number 1 is
Time. Look at that one.
time.
Yes. Time.
God gives everybody an equal amount of time.
Yes.
And God says, I've given it to you. How much did he promise us?
24 hours?
No. How much time did God promise us? 70 years and
70 years and
plus
10.
10, 80 years for good measure. In other words, I'll bless you, I'll favor, I'll give you another extra 10. So God has promised us, now of course we don't all make it to that, but God has promised us 80 years of time to do what?
To do it.
To do what?
With it. Get it right.
Paint that picture.
To paint
You
the
better,
picture.
what are you preaching
You-
tonight, dude? What is going on
What's going on
with
with him? He's on fire.
Oh my God.
to paint that picture?
Really
He's
quiet.
given
Oh,
all
yeah.
of us 80 years to paint that picture.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So T number 1 is T time. The second one is temple.
Girl.
Our body.
She went to West Point.
Exactly.
I like that.
Absolutely. He's given us a body
Right.
to be used for his glory. Right? We have now, how is our body a resource to be used for God's glory? Come on now.
There are many.
Because it's not ours.
things.
Okay, well give me some. If there's so many, throw them out there. How is our body used to paint a picture to who God is?
With our
Health.
health.
Our what?
Our health.
Absolutely. And why is health a detriment to God's glory?
Because you can't go Mr.
You better preach. You can't do nothing for God if you're sick.
Yes.
You can't do anything for him if you're sick. You can't. You can't work for him. You can't work for him if you're not optimum, if you're not in good health. That's why it says, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health. You can't do that if you're sick. In fact, some believe that was one of Paul's thorns. That was, some believe. We don't know exactly what it was. Some think it was eyesight. Some think it was because he was short. Some think it was because he constantly had people on his back because he used to persecute Christians. But one of the beliefs is that he had malaria. He was sickly. And so he prayed to God, I can do more for you if you just take this thorn away. So your health is very indicative. That's why the Bible says, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days, you know what the evil days are? See? That's AARP coming in the mail. When you see AARP coming in the mail, the evil days
And the
have come.
glasses. And, oh.
So you can't do as much. That's why
Yeah.
for Tanya, for myself, for Renewed Hearts Ministry, we are working feverishly to lead, to promote, to build another generation that will come and teach and share, but do it through principles and not through rules and policies. Because if you do that, then the next generation is going to be deficient. So I know I'm not going to be around forever. So that's why each of you are now being called to one of those ships. Which is what?
Stewards.
No.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I'm gonna slap you.
Dwayne,
Leadership. Leadership. Oh, dude,
What's
what's
going
up?
on with him?
I said it too.
Wow. He's on fire. He's on fire.
All right. The next two then.
Treasure.
Treasure. That's where tithing comes in, and offering comes in, and money comes in. Remember, see, it's a component of stewardship.
Yeah.
So treasure is one of those, okay? So God says, I'm going to hold you accountable for your time, the time that I gave you, the body that I gave you, the money that I bless you with, okay? The fourth one is talents. God gives us talents.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yes, our talents and our gifts are to be used. That's why they were given to you. See, when a child is born, all you are is a channel. You're just a conduit. You're just a surrogate of that.
Yeah.
God says, don't worry about this, and this. I've given them all of that. That's why he says, train up a child in the way that he should go. Should go based on what? Based on what I've given him. So if you see a kid who's constantly running over to the piano in diapers, what is he telling you? What's the kid trying to tell you? I'm probably have an interest in music, so you might want to get him in music. If you keep pulling him away, he keeps going back. He's probably trying to tell you what God has given him.
Yeah.
So these are to be used for God's glory, our talents and our gifts. So that's why we're always talking to the young people. I know you want to be a rapper. I know you want to be a professional player. Just let me ask you one question. How is it going to paint the picture of God? I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not saying it's bad, but just remember, in it. Now, give you a good example of somebody that's doing that. Who? Steph Curry.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Have no problem talking about God. Have no problem putting the stuff on their tennis shoes. Now a lot of the athletic world now is starting to pray. A lot of celebrities don't have a problem with prayer. They're painting a picture of God using their talents and their gifts. So it can be done, but it takes boldness, it takes courage, and it takes time, because it'd be hard if he wasn't as good as he was. So he's using his talent and his gift to bring glory to God. Can anybody guess what the last T is? I just added this T.
Oh.
This
Yeah,
is a new
it's
T.
different. Yeah.
No, temperance applies to all of these. Because you got to use all of these with temperance.
Can you give us
Oh, that's a good one.
What'd you say?
Teaching.
Teaching. No, that's a...
Oh, that is a, oh.
Can you give us a hint?
Yeah.
A good one.
Football players play on this.
Oh, turf.
There it
You
is.
better stop.
Turf.
Wow.
His creation, his earth. Okay? We're responsible for the grass, the animals, the
Yes.
trees, the air, the toxins that we put into that. Following the rules to not burn and do things in certain, because we put pollutants in the air. This is God's earth. So he wants us to take care of it. So we should be mindful of that. I took a class, what was it, environmental something or other. But that's what it was all about. It was about how to look for prolonged and sustainable ways to allow our world to last as long as possible for coming generations. So we look at the ways we litter, the way we treat animals. So God expects us to take care of his turf, because we don't know how much longer it's going to be around. We can say it's coming soon, but we don't know. It only come for another 100 years. So what we're doing now to our earth affects the future generations. So those are the 5 T's. Yes?
I was going to say, because I saw this video of Bill Nye responding to mean tweets about his campaign on climate change. And I just cannot believe that people just think that we can just throw trash out there, throw oil in the sea, and don't think it's
Gonna have an effect upon us.
Like, I'm like, are you
Really?
just-
Where do you
like,
think
I
it
just think
goes?
that's so ignorant. Like, I'm like,
Just
you just,
disappears?
like the trash, like, you know, it goes to a dump, like a landfill. Like, it goes somewhere. It doesn't ever disappear.
Absolutely.
Sorry,
Absolutely.
that's a little side note.
Absolutely. Okay, so we now know what the 5 T's are.
Yes.
Basically,
Oh, wait.
that covers pretty much everything in terms of what God gives us. These are the resources that he's given us to use to paint the picture of who God is. And these all fall under what? The principles of
Stewardship.
Exactly. All right. Now let's ask another question.
Somebody ever knows, you're like, Dwayne, you know.
So now, what is a policy as differs from a principle?
A rule, like a
Yeah.
way of maintaining.
The principal.
Tell me what we learned about policies. They're very what?
Let me look at my
I
notes.
have it right here.
No.
Okay.
Can they be changed?
Principal policy.
Policies can be
They're
changed.
changed.
They're amendable.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
they're specific.
They're specific.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're specific. They're amendable. They create our rules based on the principle.
Yeah.
If we're going to have a civilized society, we have to create the principle from sanctuary called order. So we have to create policy. So what is the policy?
10%?
Give me.
10%? Or is that?
Ah,
Or is that?
there's the policy right there. You heard it 1,000 and a million
We
times.
say it all the time.
Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse that there may be food in my
The
house.
whole time.
Yeah, you see how specific it is? Test me on this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the window floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there would not be room enough to store it. I will prevent pests from devouring your crops and the vines in your fields, and will not drop their fruits before it's ripe, says the Lord Almighty. Then all nations, there's the painting of the picture now. Then all nations will call, there's the painting of the
Be
picture.
blessed.
All nations will call you what?
Blessed.
Blessed. For yours will be a delightful land. Says who?
The
The
Lord.
Lord Almighty. This is the policy,
When they say
not the principle. This is a policy of giving. Why is it a policy? Because they're telling you, they're pulling it from the Bible on exactly how you're to do it. But remember, policies, I see you coming. Policies can do what? They can be changed and altered based on
The time.
times. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about the whole 10% thing. Because as a Seventh-day Adventist Christian, growing up when we would have the tithe envelope, it was you give God 10%. Is that exactly somewhere in the Bible, or is that like something
I'm
from
glad you're in.
church?
Yeah, I'm glad you're in. You're about 2 slides ahead of me.
I'm sorry. Okay.
No problem, but you asked a good question. You're going to get there. Do you see why this is a policy and not a principle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why? Come on, tell me why. You said yes.
Because
tell
it's
me why.
specific. It says what you should bring. It's
The whole
bringing.
time.
It's
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
That sounds like whole
it's
time.
specific to that.
All nations.
Yeah.
So does this apply to today? It's a policy now, it's not a
Yeah.
principle.
Yeah,
It's not a principle, it's a
But it
policy. It doesn't
was
apply
to
to
this
today.
time, but
Then what time is it at?
back in the day.
What-
Back in the day. So my question to you is, do we need to readdress
Yes.
the policy because we're now in 2016 and not back in
Yeah,
Christ?
the principle is the same though.
We
Yeah.
went over the principles, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay. So, do we still need to be bringing a tithe?
We don't
Well,
know.
that's a good question. Let's find out what a tithe is, which is the question I think that she asked. But first of all, let's go back to the first.
That's a nice
mention.
picture.
Somebody
Yes,
has
we
a
are.
yard?
That's
Can
what
I
I'm,
have
Like
this
on my
picture?
computer?
Can
Can
I
I-
have
can this be my life?
No, for real.
Y'all are crazy.
It's a painting though.
Like, I wanna
Very
live
scenic. It
Wow.
looks kind of real.
I know.
Is that a zip line?
It's HD.
I think that's a power line. I think that's a power line.
Tripping.
Really? It is
This is
an awesome
somebody's
picture.
This is not what we see
The
on a
scenery
regular
is just
basis.
amazing.
I thought it was
Really?
the Garden
It
of
is
Eden.
so
Listen, with
HD.
with new suburbs, you don't really see shrubbery like this.
Yeah,
It's like-
exactly.
Sorry.
It's just more so.
Shrubs.
You see like 1 or 2
Little
bushes and then you see
trees,
like
Yeah, more so.
mad grass.
That's-
Grass.
Like,
In the meadow.
Exactly.
wow, Gary.
Exactly.
Now, let me see if you guys, do you all remember the first mentioned principle from Star Wars?
Yes.
No.
It's the one
You guys missed it.
Yeah.
where we need.
First mentioned principle,
Give me 2 seconds. Hold on. Give me
first mentioned principle
what?
of stewardship. This is the concept of Bible study.
Responsibility?
No,
First
it's a certain text.
First mention means the first time God mentions it in the Bible. Because God is a God of principle. The first time he mentions it, what does that mean about God if he's a God of principle?
It has to be consistent.
That it's going to be consistent
throughout.
Excellent.
forever. So we want to see when God first addressed stewardship. and pull the principle for that will apply to us to today.
I forgot.
Somewhere in
The pictures in here.
Oh,
Now, click, click, click.
That's why it's so beautiful, y'all.
Click.
Be fruitful and multiply.
Oh, filthy earth.
Fill in, that's one. That's for Genesis 1:28. You were right, somewhere.
Yes.
Then God blessed them and said, be fruitful, but what's the key word that shows stewardship?
And multiply.
No.
Oh, God.
Govern.
I'm sorry.
Govern. You're touching her. That's why she's preaching now. Govern. Govern. What does govern mean?
Rule.
Roll over. Right. The governor, right. But the governor is not the one in charge, right? The governor, we have governors, but we have presidents. So, right. So the governor, right. So that's first mentioned principle of stewardship. So, does that mean we're to govern the earth for how long? Forever. Why? Because it's a principle that God mentioned the first time. And the way God does something the first time, He always does it the same way in principle. Every time. So, are we still to be fruitful and multiply?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Absolutely.
Does God still bless us?
Yes.
Yes, He does.
Yes, He does.
Does God still want us to fill the earth and govern it?
Yeah.
Yes, He does. See how that principle hasn't changed?
Yeah.
Stewardship is right there. Boom. Okay, the second one is
The Lord played. Oh God.
The Lord God placed the man in the Garden of Eden to tend and watch over.
there it is again. Okay?
I just had to
Absolutely.
come
Now,
here. I was
this is a principle. Now watch this. I want to see if you're thinking. I'm going to see how sharp you are tonight, Dwayne. This is a principle, right? Does it need to change now? How do we take this principle,
Wait, policy.
this policy?
Yeah,
Because this is now a
okay.
policy, isn't it?
Yes.
Why is it a policy?
Because the
Come on.
Garden of Eden, where there is no garden.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is no Garden of Eden. So what's the
Yes.
principle then of this?
To tend and watch
To
over.
watch over the earth.
Exactly. So how would we amend this policy now to today? Because there is no Garden of Eden.
People on earth to tend and watch over it.
Yeah?
Yeah. The
So what?
Lord God placed the
Man
man
in the
in
garden.
the earth to
Okay.
tend and watch over it.
Okay. So what men would tend and watch over the earth today?
Environmentalists.
Environmentalists,
Yeah.
Homeland Security,
Oh, okay.
police officers.
Oh,
That's the land?
Yes.
That people?
Yes, to tend and watch over it. Because basically this was the place where everybody was going to exist.
yeah.
So Adam would have basically been the police.
True.
Wow.
But why? Say even.
Not police in the negative context, but police in tending and watching over.
But wouldn't
So, like-
every other man after had Eve not bit the fruit? Wouldn't everybody else have that same responsibility?
Yes,
Oh.
and we do.
Man, every man.
Right.
Okay, I
But-
didn't
but-
follow you, but okay.
Yeah, but she didn't follow it. So.
Oh yeah. Well, obviously we're
That's
here.
So then it doesn't account. It doesn't fit. So we see the first mentioned principle. So now as a result, what is a tithe?
You know, say.
What is a tithe? The policy said, bring ye all the tithe, the whole tithe. Your monies? Is it?
The
Anything-
tithe
anything
is
that's valuable
anything
to
that God has given you
Yeah,
to be used for Him, which could be our gift, our talents.
That's everything.
Everything.
Okay.
He said the whole time.
Exactly. He sure did. So
not just a grind.
Your whole
So
talent.
what is it?
Everything
So all the
that's valuable
T's
to you.
and all the T's.
Yeah, T's are the
Everything.
Yes, all of the
Is that it?
T's.
No.
I could. No,
Time,
that's-
money. I mean, time,
You're-
temple.
Yes.
That's
Treasure.
treasure.
Turf.
No.
Word.
Turf.
A tenth, so God wants you to give a tenth of the earth?
No. He wants us to give
We
it.
don't know.
Oh.
A tithe is
1/10.
1/10.
So it's
1/10 of the produce of the. Now let's go back to the first mentioned principle. 1/10 of the produce of the land, where the grain from the fields and from the trees, belongs to the Lord and must be set apart to Him as holy. Count off every 10th animal from your herds and flocks and set them apart, for the Lord is holy.
Oh, as a sacrifice.
Yes.
Yes,
Dang, every 10th one.
every 10th one. So
That's a lot.
you count them through. Every 10th one, set them aside. Boom.
That one. I'd be like, please don't
Boom.
make me
Tip
scared.
tithe.
Please don't make me be
Through
scared.
your whole flock?
Yes.
Or your whole flock. So if you got 1,000 flock, you count them all. Seems like it'd be easy to just multiply and say this many, but I guess they had it. They went under a rod, so there was a reason why they did that. It was the way they tested the animals to see if they were in good condition. But every 10th one that was good was set
Oh,
aside.
that was good.
Boom,
Yeah.
that was worthy was set
Oh,
aside. Okay, so now you have a 10th. So a tithe is a 10th of what?
Everything that you've been given.
No, this is very specific.
Produce of the land.
Right, back then, how did they make money?
That means
How did they earn?
fruit.
Crops, grains,
yeah.
herbs. They didn't have money back then.
So
back then,
you
the,
earn.
exactly, it was
Okay.
your increase. So
Okay.
God is saying, I need a 10th of that to come back. Okay, for what purpose?
To be set apart.
For what purpose?
For him.
For the
That's
Lord.
right.
For the Lord.
So anything that, yeah.
Okay,
So, but then the
so today, translate a 10th of what? We don't do grains, crops, cows, and
our
stuff.
earnings.
Our money, our income. Exactly.
Yes.
Our money and our income. So it's a 10th of it. Now, what does it mean when he says bring the whole tithe?
All of it.
All of it. All
What do
the
you mean?
whole 10.
What do you mean the whole 10th?
10%.
There's 1/10 is the
Bring
10.
all your
Nah,
money.
I think it's everything.
Yes.
That's
Bring
I'm
all
gonna
your
say
money.
All
all
your
your
tithe, for however long you live.
Listen, what is the,
I
you
was
said
all
you hear it all
wrong.
the time, but what do you hear just before you hear bring ye all the tithe into the house? What do you hear just before that?
Ugh.
Malachi.
There it is.
What's
Will a man do what?
Oh,
Rob God.
Oh,
So God is
yes,
saying,
yes.
no, bring me the
Oh.
whole tithe. In other words, you're bringing it, but you're not. And you're not. And you're not. You are and you are. Look, bring me the whole tithe.
Wow.
Bring me everybody 10. That's why the previous verse says, will a man rob God? Because everybody was not bringing it. So he's singing, bring me all of the tenths.
Wow. That's crazy. Ooh.
It's not that they were giving them an 8th or a 4th or a 5th. It was bring me everybody's 10th.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Yes. You had a question?
No, I was talking to Jesus. 'Cause, and like I tell you guys all the time, every time I come to sites, it's like related to what everything about you doing. So anyway.
Okay. So this leads to the question. Should we continue to give a 10th today
Yes.
to the churches?
Yes.
Yes.
To specifically the churches? Or
but-
just like
Where's the storehouse? Let's back up. Come on now. You want to preach a little bit.
Is it in the sanctuary?
Where's the storehouse? Look, what does it say? What does the scripture
way
say?
God is in the sanctuary.
Did that come up before?
No.
I thought we were waiting.
I
Man.
thought we were waiting for something.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. No, the scripture says, bring ye all the tithe
Into the storehouse.
into the
Storehouse.
house. Right? Ow!
How is the question?
Slow
Okay,
down.
there you go.
Okay.
One.
One.
There you go.
All right. What is the policy of giving?
That there
Bring the whole tithe. We discovered that means what? Not everything,
Every person.
everybody.
Yeah.
Not everything, everybody. It applies to everybody.
Right.
Into where?
Storehouse.
What's the storehouse?
Restore things.
Come on, what's the storehouse?
It's the church, right?
This is Malachi, long
It's his
time ago.
house. It's his
Well,
house.
but
It's
you
his
don't
house.
have
It's
to
his house,
be
which is
Well, I would say that the storehouse is anywhere
It's
that
the
you
barn.
set aside for God. Because
But
I don't know,
wait,
I'm asking
wouldn't
you.
the-
The church doesn't
in our
have
faith,
a
wouldn't the
barn.
storehouse be like
the storehouse is
conference?
where 2 or 3 are gathered.
I'm so done. But you, me, Ryan, and Desi gather at the house every
And he
Saturday,
is
and
here.
we stack in this money.
What's that?
Extra
Stacking
money.
it to put food in the house that
And
is
the whole
given
house, though, it's 2 houses in there.
Okay,
Wouldn't the
keep reading.
storehouse be
That there may be food
in
in
my
my
house?
house.
It's a barn,
No, this
a
is
barn.
different. This is
Oh,
Lord
this is
saying
him
this.
saying it.
So,
So,
It's church.
So,
Is that
what's
house?
God's
It's
house?
Any place,
I think
any
that's
ministry
what
that has
Sophie's
to
Where two
deal
or three
with
are gathered.
God.
Yeah.
Any
So
ministry
any
that has
bastard,
to
it
deal
don't have to
with
be
God.
steeple,
It doesn't
praise
have to.
God
No.
from. It doesn't have to be
The
that.
storehouse is the place where it is used for the purpose of doing what?
Storing
Yes.
food.
Supplying food for whom?
So shelter.
For others.
Right.
That's what I'm like. It's for
Right. For everybody. Okay. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Is
I mean, you
tithing,
could though. You could give it to shelter.
is tithing
That's what
the
I'm
10th? Is it still applicable? Is the policy still applicable today? Yes.
Yes.
This is a policy of giving now. This is not a principle of giving. This is a policy.
Yeah, but
Yes,
I mean,
it's
we
still-
can't
Means that
just
this could
look
be a-
over.
Huh?
We can't just look over throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing. Like, we can't just overlook
No, you
that
can't
part.
overlook that. No, not at all. God's promise He's going to do that, but I'm not focusing on that part. I'm
But
focusing
he
on,
promises that with the whole time. Though, right?
yeah, bring the whole tithe into the storehouse.
Pastor James, can you ask the question in a
Should
different
we
way?
live at the church? Like,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
because
talking
there's
about.
two different verses saying two different things. One is saying 1/10, one is saying the whole tithe. So what do you?
No, the
Well,
whole
1/10
No,
is
one
the
tenth
tithe.
is the whole
Your
tithe.
1/10 is a part of that whole tithe, though.
Right. Bring the whole tithe.
So his
Oh,
tenth-
duh.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the whole check,
No,
y'all.
No, the whole remember tithe is a
I know.
tenth.
I'm like, what am I gonna do?
All right.
She's like, Joy, we have to move out.
Wow.
So let me ask you, why do you think God said, "Give me a tenth"?
Because He knows that you still
Obedience.
He knows that you still gotta live.
Just obedience?
No.
Because He could have said a fifth. He could have said a fifth. He could have said all.
Just
Why did He say a
enough.
tenth?
Yeah, He's
Just
fair.
enough, and it's
I think
Yeah.
he knows. Wow, he gives us
It's
so
enough
much.
to sacrifice. Because if you think about it, $100, 10 is like, okay, 10. Then when it gets bigger, $1,000, like a hundred, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then,
But what if you have a couple that makes $100,000 a year that have no children, and they give a tenth? That means they have how much left over?
Yeah.
90,000 for how many
Yes.
people?
Two.
Okay. So now you have a couple that makes $20,000 a year with 5 children,
but
and they give a tenth. How much do they have left?
I'm sorry, say that again.
They have $20,000. They give a tenth. They have 18 for how many people?
Yeah.
The couple that has 100,000 and 90,000
They
left, they have it for how many people?
2 people.
2 people.
But if you read the verse, it says, "I will not open the floodgates of pro." So He's gonna give them so much blessing. So I guess in a sense, it doesn't even matter how much. I guess the next person.
But what if he doesn't?
tithes? No.
I think.
What if he
I
doesn't?
think-
What if he doesn't? What if you're choosing between lights and tithe, or you're struggling, or you're suffering?
But it's the
You're in-
sacrifice.
You're wait, listen to me. You're in debt. You're in debt. You're
Yeah.
struggling. You're in debt,
Yes.
and you're giving a tenth of your check to the church.
Yes.
But yet now,
Yes.
you're sending a message to the light company, to the car you bought, to the children that are in your care, that I can't take care of you.
Oh wow.
Are we gonna rely on the promise?
And you know what, Carrie? There's
I'm throwing it out there for you guys
There was
to
some.
think about policies and practices now.
Now I know some people. They say God will make a way. They automobile
Religious.
money, and they got their car repoed because they paid the tithes. Now I was like,
Which sent a message to the car company, what? That Christians don't what?
they don't
Pay
pay.
their bills.
They don't pay their bills.
So what are you trying to say?
I'm asking you all.
We don't
I am
know.
asking you. Think about the principle and the policy and the practice. I'm asking you, this is the policy of giving. And what do we say about policies? They can be specific and they can be amended
Right.
Because of time.
of time.
Because of time.
I think
But they never violate the what? The principle.
The principle is to do it.
They never violate the
A
principle.
whole tenth.
What are we always to do? Paint a picture of
God.
when we do not pay our bills
It's not painting a good picture.
and our children and our
Oh,
family and
they
our
gonna
homes
start.
are lacking. Are we painting?
Oh Lord, you stepping
Are
on
we
some
painting the
toes.
picture?
I don't know
that-
what to say right
I
now.
think
but
that-
I'm just asking. I'm asking.
I think that if it's like within your power and you know that you can do it, you can pay that 10th. But if you can't,
If means that you just changed the policy.
well, not.
You just you said if. As long as you said if, you just amended the policy.
So what we need to do,
that.
Gary?
No, we can't.
Gary, what we need to do?
You can't.
But there's some
Gary,
that will
what we
say
need
you
to do?
can't.
You need
Under no circumstances are you to touch
Yeah,
or change
I grew up with that. I grew up with
this
that.
whole
That's what
time.
I'm saying.
And I had to make
That's
some,
what
you know what?
can't.
I had to make some serious, as being a single parent. There was times that I did not do it. When I could do, I did. And I mean, for my kids, I was sick. And I had
It's too hard
3
right
kids.
now.
Right.
Let me ask you a question.
And they made me feel, well, not the church, but the principal and all made me feel bad because I couldn't pay. But I knew it's between my children eating and having a roof over their head or the tithes. Not saying I did not do it. I did when I could do.
Right.
And then when I couldn't, I just couldn't. And I didn't say I'm going to make it up because you can never make up.
Right.
Right.
But heck, you never could. But that's my dilemma. And I'm just confession is good for us.
And that policy, I guess they make you feel, well, it makes me feel bad too sometimes when they get up there. Well, man, rob God.
I'm like, dang, I robbed God. I robbed God.
Yeah.
You
we-
have
I've never heard that.
You ain't never heard that?
They say
Oh,
the
wow. They say it all the time.
No, they say bring you all. Bring you all.
What, man, robbed God?
I'm telling you.
Before they start
Oh,
listen,
sorry.
before they start saying he's able and stuff, some of them will get up there. Well, a man robbed God, and then they go.
I only
They say-
remember one person that did that and he rolled out. I don't remember everybody else.
Really?
They
They
do
hear,
that.
we hear it all the time at Boulevard.
All the time. Yeah,
Boulevard.
You hear it a lot.
Single person.
You hear it a lot.
Every week.
Every week we
I
hear
heard. I heard it coming.
Every week.
Every week at
So
every
what you
church.
say? What is,
Guilty.
it makes you feel guilty?
Yes, as though you
So,
just
Gary,
took
what
it
we
back.
do? Gary, what is
So instead of looking at the policy of giving, we should be looking
Look
at
at the principle.
there you go. The principle of giving. So now let's go forward and look at the principle of giving. But y'all gonna read this for yourself. You gotta go to your Bibles. You gotta go to your Bibles.
Let me flip it over.
1 Corinthians chapter 9.
Oh, here we go.
We're gonna read the principle of giving. It's 2 Corinthians, I'm sorry. 2 Corinthians chapter 9.
Oh, I read this.
Oh, you listed them out though.
What?
I think I don't even remember what.
Of giving?
Chapter
The
9,
five,
the whole
the five
chapter?
T's. Was it of stewardship?
Remember, yeah, those are the 5 T's. Remember, don't get stewardship mixed up with tithing. That's a component of stewardship.
Right.
Right.
So tithing is
So
a
let me say this to you.
policy
Let me say this to you.
of
What would happen? The church frowns upon you not
tithing?
tithing, right?
Yeah.
They either censor you, sit you down, or have a meeting with you, right?
Or kick you out of church.
now, watch this. Watch this. I just want you to think a minute. Now,
Right.
tithing is a component of what?
Stewardship.
Stewardship. Okay. So is another T, which
Time.
is your time.
And your
Time.
talent.
Right. So now,
Simple.
let's just say we have an overweight pastor.
He needs to go.
Well.
Which
He
happens
needs to
often.
go and run.
Will they pull him aside,
No.
Of course not.
sit him down, talk to him, because he's violating that component of
Stewardship.
stewardship? No, they won't, but they will do it
If you're not.
if you're
giving
doing
them
it in your
money.
tithe. This is why we shouldn't teach
Girl, stop.
tithing only. We should teach stewardship because it covers everything. But we pick and choose with our policies
Yeah.
that which is only what we think is important to God. So I'm gonna let one of my elders or one of my pastors die of a heart attack as long as he's paying tithe, and I'm not gonna say anything to him about his weight.
Somebody
So
needs to
you
talk
mean
to our
I've
pastor.
been giving with talents and time and health and stuff. What is it? What's the one with the health T?
Temple.
Yes. So, but I just been feeling real bad about
About
the
that-
treasure part.
About the treasure part. And why have you been feeling bad?
Because they make you feel bad. Because they,
But why would you feel bad if you're giving a tenth?
but
If you're giving a tenth, why
sometimes-
would you feel bad? Because sometimes you what?
Probably don't give as much as you're supposed to.
Why? Why would you never not give as much as you're supposed to?
Sometimes you
Maybe
gotta
you're
pay
not.
a bill.
Oh, right.
But does the tithe always have to be specified to money though? Does it always have to be money?
Is it true?
Probably.
He always
Who's
be sneaking in.
Yeah, I see the
Say feed him. Say honey.
Okay, let's read. Let's read the principle. Let's read the principle of
Okay, yeah,
giving.
today, so somebody.
All right.
All right.
Somebody give me a modern
It's
version.
gonna be NLT.
NLT, good. Give me the NLT.
Okay. I
Let me-
really don't.
Let me pull it up here. I want to reach out.
Congratulations.
Hey, nice. Your song dropped and everything on iTunes.
How you know?
We,
What do you mean?
your parents are like,
What? Ezekiel told me what?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, your mom told me. Ezekiel knew.
Congratulations.
Yes. Ivy.
Oh. I don't know how to use the Bible on here. What's up?
Uh-oh.
What's up, son? How you doing, man? Good to see you, man. You know what? I'm gonna use old-fashioned Bible.
Old-fashioned Bible.
Yes.
The hard
He
copy.
wants to read.
The hard copy.
Yeah.
All right. What do we read? 2 Corinthians
9.
chapter and 9. All right. 2 Corinthians chapter 9. Somebody read.
Okay, it says, I really don't need to write to you about this ministry of giving for the believers in Jerusalem. For I know how eager you are to help, and I have been boasting to the churches in Macedonia, that you in Greece were ready to send an offering a year ago. In fact, it was your enthusiasm that stirred up many of the Macedonian believers to begin giving. But I am sending these brothers to be sure you really are ready, as I have been telling them, and that your money is all collected. I don't want to be wrong in my boasting about you. We would be embarrassed, not to mention your own embarrassment, if some Macedonian believers came with me and found that you weren't ready after all I had told them. So I thought I should send these brothers ahead of me to make sure the gift you promised is ready. But I want it to be a willing gift, not one given grudgingly.
Ooh.
Remember this, a farmer who plants only a few seeds will get a small crop, but the one who plants generously will get a generous crop. You must each decide in your heart how much to give, and don't give reluctantly or in response to pressure, for God loves a person who gives cheerfully, and God will generously provide all you need. Then you will always have everything you need and plenty left over to share with others. As the scriptures say, they share freely and give generously to the poor. Their good deeds will be remembered forever. For God is the one who provides seed for the farmer and then bread to eat. In the same way, he will provide and increase your resources and then produce a great harvest of generosity in you. Yes, you will be enriched in every way so that you can always be generous. And when we take your gifts to those who need them, they will thank God. So 2 good things will result from this ministry of giving. The needs of the believers in Jerusalem will be met, and they will joyfully express their thanks to God. As a result of your ministry, they will give glory to God, for your generosity to them and to all believers will prove that you are obedient to the good news of Christ, and they will pray for you with deep affection because of the overflowing grace God has given you. Thank God for this gift, too wonderful to us.
You know what I notice about a lot of these principles that we're learning? It's all about intention from the individual that then sparks the intention of the next person.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because growing up in an Adventist church, you know, even the adults, sometimes you could tell, like, oh, I gotta get my tithe envelope, girl, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I gotta get my tithe. And it always seemed like such a heavy burden sometimes. And that's not.
Because it has become the test of faith. Tithing in and of itself, not stewardship.
Yes.
You can violate in any of the other ones as long as you drop the tithe.
Right.
Because it has become the testament of faith.
Yes.
And it should not be. I am concerned for any of my members in all of the areas of T's.
Yes.
If I discover you're fighting dogs and being brutal to animals, if I discover that you're getting out of shape and you're smoking and drinking, if I discover that you're using your gifts and talents to draw people to Satan rather than to Christ, what's the other T? Which one did I miss? Time. If I discover that you're spending time on fruitless things as your leader, as your minister, as your pastor, as your mentor, I'm going to have a conversation. Say, what's up? I'm not just going to pull you in when I see your receipts don't match up, but I don't care about what else happens to you. I care about stewardship as a whole, because God holds you accountable for all of it. So what we just read, what's the principle of giving? You attend a church, you have a membership of a church. What is your principle of giving as it relates to that church? What are the principles? Now combine the policy of Malachi, bring you all the time, and the principle you just read of giving.
You must decide in your heart how much to give, and don't give reluctantly or in response to pressure.
Well, the church has a policy on giving. What is the policy? 1/10. And where do they get that from?
The Bible.
Bible. So it's legit.
Okay.
Okay, now, why does the church use the policy of 1/10? Why do you think God used the policy of 1/10? What do we say comes out of the sanctuary? What are the order? We get consistency and we get order. It's broken down on a percentage, so it doesn't tax or overtax one person that much. It's based on what they earn as a whole. You make so. Now, how does this about? Let's remember some principles you have to combine with others. To whom much is given, much more is required. Yeah. So if the Lord has blessed you to make $100,000, does it seem feasible that you can give back more?
Yeah.
Okay then. So the 10% is a principle of order. If you have everybody in the church give 10% to the church, not even the local church, should lack. But what the church has done is it says you to give a 10th, but then also an offering. Because the tithe goes where?
To the conference.
What stays at the church? Offering. Why is it the church suffers financially?
Because they're not giving you 10%.
Because 10% goes to the conference. And if a person is struggling, which one are they going to pay? Return.
That's why the offering be high.
They're going to return the tithe because the offering is, quote unquote,
the local
volunteer.
Yeah. I have a question.
It's give as you can, but that's not the principle of giving. Let me tell you why. What if I want to give more than 10?
And you know what?
Why are you restricting me
more
to 10? What if I want to give 30,
people give
40? Some people give 50% of their income.
20%.
10% is just a policy. But let's just say, you know, the Lord has been so good to me.
Bam, nurses.
The Lord's been, bam, there's 20%. Bam, there's 30%. You see what I'm saying? Because did I not amend the policy if I gave more? Yes, I did. I amended it, I gave more. So if I'm struggling, here's the question I want to ask. Here's the question you have to deal with. If you're struggling financially, can't pay your bills, can't take care of things around the house, are you committing a sin if you give less than 10?
No.
Why do you say that?
Because you're still giving from your heart, even though it's not the 10%.
Because you're following the principle of giving.
Wow. Amen.
The principle of giving.
Yes.
Now, here's my opinion. If you are a member of a local church, you have signed up for membership, you've taken vows, then you should support that local church. That local church becomes, according to the policy, your storehouse. You understand? Because that's where you go, you support that storehouse. The problem comes in is if you do anything different than that. Let's just say you're not a member, or there is another ministry that you want to support. The church sometimes still says that we're still the storehouse. So then that causes self-supporting ministries, like Paul was, to struggle. Because what the organization says, policy says you go over here and do your thing, but make sure this comes back to us. That's when you have to understand the principle of giving.
Wow.
Because since God is, he said, replenish the whole earth. Because God is big and he's great and he's wonderful. Is God just restricted to this one area? No, he's not. So you have to know what the principles of giving are and understand so that you're not beat down by the fear factor of giving. Because one of the things I would do is I would never take offering in my church. Never. I wouldn't take any offerings or tithes. I'd set up buckets.
Yep.
And
On
I
the
would
way
say,
out.
I would say,
Right.
as you are led.
Right.
Because I'm going to teach you the word of God. And what God says about giving is, because giving is to support the gospel. It takes money to support the gospel.
Exactly.
So you have to give. You can't be a member of something and not support it. You can't expect the gospel. Preach the gospel. Okay, well that takes airfare, money, houses, lights, food. That's money. So it takes money. Yes, I would like your talents. I would like your temple. That's great. But that's not going to pay Atlanta gas. So we still need the tithing component of that.
Wow.
So you have, as an individual, have to decide where your storehouse is going to be. Like I said, I recommend if you are a member of a church, that's your storehouse. If your name is on the book, you take it back. That's where you're vested at. Support that local church. Absolutely. But the principle of giving is what? What's the principle? Let's review. What's the principle of giving? Give what you can, which is
I feel like
cheerful giver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Do not give grudgingly.
Yeah.
Right. What did the widow do? She gave
Her laughs.
all that she had, which was her last.
Yes.
So sometimes you have to give sacrificially,
Yes.
whereas they gave out of their abundance.
Yes.
And that could be time too. Like
That could be
sometimes
time.
you have to just give people your time.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So don't confuse the principles
Wow.
of giving as opposed to the policies of giving. We have principles of giving, we have policies of giving. Tanya, I just want to say good night to you all. Thank you for being with us tonight. We bless your name. We thank you. Come see us again next time, site where we try our very best to get it right.
Right.
Thank you.